You're listening to the Kirkintilloch Herald, a Q&A review recording service podcast, brought to you by our team of volunteers currently recording from their homes across Scotland. Whether you're listening via the BWBF online players, the telephone app, or our brand new Alexa skill, please phone us on 0141 772 3976 to feedback on what you want us to provide and improve upon. Please also join your family and friends in being our audio ambassadors and share our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram all at Q&A Review. That's at symbol CUEANDREVIEW.
This week's Kirkintilloch Herald, date Wednesday, April the 20th, 2022. Funding is served hot. Report by Brian Yule. Glasgow Airport's Flight Path Fund has awarded £3,700 to help a social enterprise establish a new community coffee shop in Bishopbriggs. Glasgow Roasters work with people in recovery and rehabilitation to help build their confidence, get them work ready, and become professionally qualified coffee roasters and baristas. Following this, clients are then fully integrated into the workplace placements before moving into full-time employment. The cash from the Flight Path Fund is being used to help furnish the new coffee shop at Bishopbriggs Community Church, where Glasgow Roasters is based. Duncan Stevenson, Operations Manager, said, "This award from the Flight Path Fund will ensure we can properly furnish the coffee shop, which we hope will be a real asset to the local community and an ideal training base for our baristas." The team at Glasgow Roasters would like to take this opportunity to thank the Funds Committee for supporting our work in the Bishopbriggs area and beyond. Run by 12 volunteers, Glasgow Roasters trades directly and fairly with coffee growing cooperatives in Rwanda, DR Congo, Brazil and other countries in the Global South. More than £90,000 is being made available by the fund in 2022, and the committee is urging neighbouring groups and organisations to submit applications for sustainably themed projects aimed at improving the environment in the communities local to the airport. Councillor Rose O'Neill, who sits in the Flight Path Fund Committee on behalf of East Dunbartonshire Council, said, "Glasgow Roasters is a fine example of community enterprise doing fantastic work both at a local level by supporting some of our most vulnerable citizens learn new skills and by ensuring coffee farmers in some of the most deprived parts of the world get a fair deal. The next meeting is on June 17th and applications must be submitted no later than 3 weeks prior to the meeting. For more information, visit www.glasgowairport.com/community. To find out more about Glasgow Roasters, visit www.glasgowroasters.com. That's www.glasgowroasters.com. This week in history, April 19th, 1987, The Simpsons premieres as a short cartoon on the Tracy Ullman Show. On this day last year, NASA's Ingenuity Mars helicopter completed the first powered, controlled flight on another planet, the space agency announced. April 20th, 1972, Apollo 16 landed on the moon. April 21st, 1945, Ivor Novello's Perchance to Dream opened at the London Hippodrome with his now classic song We'll Gather Lilacs. The show ran to 1,022 performances. On this day last year, the Queen's real 95th birthday was a private and low-key event following the death of her beloved husband, the Duke of Edinburgh. April 22nd, 1943, the printing of British £1,000 notes was discontinued. On this day last year, a UK ticket holder came forward to claim the week's jackpot prize of £59 million in the Euromillions draw, operator Camelot said. April 23rd, 2005, the first video was uploaded to youtube.com. April 24th, 1986, the Duchess of Windsor, the American widow of Edward, Duke of Windsor, died in Paris, aged 89. On this day last year, 4 astronauts on board SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule successfully docked at the International Space Station. On Thursday, the 21st of April 2022, sunrise shall be at 5:57 AM and sunset shall be 8:33 PM.
Fald Head green light. Calla Homes West has secured consent to create a vibrant new community in Fald Head, Kirkintilloch. East Dunbartonshire Council, where Calla will have invested over £150 million locally, following the completion of Fald Head, has granted planning permission subject to Section 75 conditions. The 2 applications submitted as the land is held by 2 owners detail the delivery of a fully integrated development. A total of 228 homes includes 160 private homes, ranging from 1-bed cottage flats, 3-bedroom terrace and semi-detached homes to 4 and 5-bedroom villas. The remaining 68 plots will be allocated to deliver affordable homes which are being developed in partnership with Hillhead Housing Association. Calla has prioritised green space throughout the site and will establish 3 new ponds, plant hundreds of new trees and over 4,000 square metres of hedgerow. These additions will enhance the landscape and support a range of wildlife throughout the community, which will also include a natural play area and views of the Campsie Fells. The development is located adjacent to the Woodley village and encourages active travel through a network of new footpaths. This includes providing the missing link between the Woodley Village South footpath and the Luggy Water footpath. Ian Conway, Strategic Projects Director, Calla Homes West, said, "As part of our commitment to creating sustainable, inclusive communities, we have closely consulted with East Dunbartonshire Council and the local community, and we will continue to do so as this development progresses. We have proactively incorporated several features such as bat, bee and bird boxes to complement new planting that will boost the biodiversity of the site, which will truly establish a vibrant new community for all. The latest planning consent is a positive milestone for our continued investment in East Dunbartonshire and across the west of Scotland. We look forward to contributing further to the local economy through the creation of construction jobs, the delivery of much needed private and affordable homes and the economic activity of residents." A day for the town. Bishopbriggs Community Day, formerly the Gala Day, will take place on Saturday, May the 28th. The main venue will be Woodhill Evangelical Church, where there will be local crafters, stalls and performances by local groups from 10 AM until around 4:30 PM. The other venue will be Bishopbriggs Library with stalls, an arts corner and other activities. A procession from Kirkintilloch Road to the church, led by Kirkintilloch Brass Band, will set off at 12:30 PM, also featuring the Girls' Brigade, Scouts, Clyde Valley Hogs and vintage cars. Modernising from the idea of a gala queen, there will instead be 3 Bishopbriggs community ambassadors, and the lead school this year is Meadowburn Primary. To keep up to date, visit www.facebook.com/Bishopbriggs Community Council. The right way to celebrate talent. A new project aims to showcase the creative writing talents of the East Dunbartonshire autistic community. To mark World Autism Acceptance Week, the Health and Social Care Partnership has launched a new literary initiative. Local area coordinators are on the lookout for short story submissions with a maximum length of 600 words on the theme of reflections. Stories will be compiled and printed in a booklet in September. It's part of a lineup of exciting events throughout the year as part of the 2022 Festival of Celebration. This will showcase the artistic achievements of autistic people and individuals with learning disabilities and mental health issues locally, as well as the organisations that support them. The aim is that every 2 months a new creative art forum will be explored or shared. Caroline Sinclair, Interim Chiefs Officer of Eastern Bartonshire HSCP, said, "This is a great new project which aims to highlight the writing skills of the local autistic community. The theme is Reflections, which is very apt, and I'm sure the submissions will reflect the wonderful range of talents and experiences locally. The short story should be submitted by July the 29th. For information about the creative writing project or send in submissions, call 0300 123 4510 or email hannah.murray, that's HANNAH.MURRAY @easternbarton.gov.uk, ashley.grantning, that's ASHLEIGH .grant, GRANT -NG @easternbarton.gov.uk, or George Burt, that's George GORGE Burt BURT @easternbarton.gov.uk. Illegal dumping still happening. Milton of Campsie Community Council is continuing to be outraged about illegal dumping at Burston Coupe. In February, we reported that Strathkelth and Bearsden MSP Rona Mackay had criticised SEPA over its investigation after dozens of complaints from residents and the Community Council over the alleged dumping of toxic waste at the site. The Community Council was further angered when on March the 31st, a tipper truck with a full load of soil and other debris turned up after 5:30 p.m. and dumped it outside the gates. Brian McFall, Secretary, said, "There is now a potentially serious issue here. If that earth is contaminated and a child or adult manages to come into contact with it and suffers any kind of reaction, who is to blame? The soil is now likely to spread over the entrance and onto the main road and adjacent pavement. As a community, we fully expect our council to act as expeditiously as possible to have this earth removed and in turn charge the cost of this work to either the owner of the site, the management contractor of the site, or the contractor who dumped it." Mr McFall wrote to SEPA and Eastern Bartonshire Council asking how they were dealing with the issue. Anne Davey, the council's Deputy Chief Executive, said, "The council is aware of the material which has been dumped on site and has made contact with the site operator in relation to this matter. I can confirm that it will be the responsibility of the site operator for the removal of this material." Accident figures. Eastern Bartonshire is Great Britain's second safest place for drivers, new research has found. The study, commissioned by car insurance experts carinsurance.ae, analysed Department of Transport data from 2013 to 2020 on the rate of reported road accidents per 1,000 people. Eastern Bartonshire has a population of 108,750 and has an average of 82 car accidents per year, giving a score of 0.75 accidents per 1,000 of the population. This was just behind Moray in top spot, which is 0.74 accidents per 1,000 of the population, while the Orkney Islands 0.79, Aberdeen City 0.82 and East Renfrewshire 0.86 make up the rest of the top 5. Scotland is the safest place overall, with 1.32 road accidents per 1,000 of the population, compared with 1.51 in Wales and 2.05 in England.
Taking a bite of the Big Apple. The Theatre School of Scotland was the first Scottish performing arts group to be invited to take part in the annual New York Tartan Day Parade. Around 70 members, aged 7 to 21, headed to the Big Apple, including Eastern Bartonshire youngsters Grace Campbell, Chiara and Lucia Minchella, Erin Nemo, Emily Kinnaird, Joy Hancock and Grace Curry. Clad in tartan suits, they stunned commuters by doing a flash mob performance at Grand Central Station, which saw them singing Flower of Scotland, Auld Lang Syne and Loch Lomond. They also marched in the parade itself, as well as taking part in other events at the Statue of Liberty and on Broadway. Translation for Ukraine. Report by Brian Newell. An international project to create a simple, easy to understand guide to living with epilepsy has been expanded to help people fleeing the conflict in Ukraine, and NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde has been instrumental in the effort. EpiPicto is a pictorial guide to epilepsy, first produced in 2019. An initiative involving teams across Europe and funded by Erasmus+. It is a free downloadable resource with a target audience of adults with low levels of literacy and migrants or refugees arriving in European countries with little knowledge of the local language. It has been widely used in these settings, and a number of colleagues in Scotland use it to help students with additional support needs. EpiPicto had originally been translated into Dutch, English, French, German, Maltese and Spanish, but last month it was decided to create Ukrainian and Polish versions. NHS GGC, through its partnership with Glasgow-based epilepsy support charity Epilepsy Connections, has funded the translations, and the new resource is already in use with refugees in Poland and Germany. It will also be an important additional support for Ukrainian people who come to live in the UK. Craig Broadfoot, General Manager for the Neurosciences at NHS GGC, said, "We are delighted to have been involved in the EpiPicto project, and when the translations into Ukrainian and Polish were suggested, we were happy to fund the work. People fleeing Ukraine need all the support we can give them, and these new EpiPicto resources are a simple but important support for people living with epilepsy who have been forced to flee their homes. I would like to thank everyone at NHS GGC and our colleagues in Epilepsy Connections who have helped turn us around so quickly. The purpose of the guide is not to provide detailed information, but to help start conversations about epilepsy and support people to find the support they need to live well. Topics include dispelling myths about epilepsy, types of seizures, diagnoses, medication and treatment options, epilepsy first aid, how to try to reduce seizure frequency, how to deal better with seizures, and information for families and friends." And that was a report by Brian Newell. Cash boost for charity. Report by Brian Newell. A charity that recycles school uniforms will extend its reach to more families after being gifted £1,250 by the Allied Vehicles Charitable Trust. Donna Henderson came up with the idea for what is now Glasgow's Pre-Loved uniforms 6 years ago when she won a Kelvin College Community Achievement Award. As part of that course, the mum of 3 boys at Ballornock Primary approached their head teacher about holding a school uniform event and was told although a similar previous exercise hadn't worked, the school would help in any way it could. Donna sent out a questionnaire to parents asking if they would donate uniforms and if they would use pre-loved sets of clothing. She said, "I got 22 replies and the answers were positive, so I asked the parents to bring their kids' old uniforms into school. Over the space of 1 week, I went home with 2 massive bags full. I took them to the wee steamy laundrette across from my house and got them washed for free by Harp, the owner. The uniforms went and displayed at a Marie Curie fundraiser and were immediately scooped up by parents." That was early in 2017 and was followed by a donation of ex-display school shirts from Tesco and Shettleston, when Donna started a Facebook page that saw the formation of Ballornock Uniform Bank. She wrote to every primary school head in the G21 area, and from there her initiative began to grow dramatically. Donna said, "I was approached by the Foundation for Social Entrepreneurs, Unlimited, regarding funding to set up a social enterprise, and received just over £3,000. Instead of working from my home, friends of Springburn Park offered me the porta cabin they had in the community village. After getting a board together, we changed the name to North Glasgow Uniform Bank and continued to grow, supporting families outside of the area, including partnership schools. In 2020 we gained charitable status, becoming Glasgow's Pre-Loved uniforms, and now work with 29 schools from Drumchapel to Easterhouse, the Gorbals Castlemilk, and 3 co-op stores. Our uniforms are still laundered and free, and we operate on a non-referral basis. The charity also helps the environment by stopping quality school uniforms going to landfill. Donna added, "Now that everything is rising in price, families are going to struggle more with, which means we will be in even more demand. We will continue to support families and look to linking up with more organisations and supermarkets to get uniforms out into the communities across the city. Allied Vehicles Charitable Trust's very kind donation will help us keep the service going and able to reach out to even more families." Gary Facena, owner and chair of the Allied Vehicles Group, said, "When we launched Charitable Trust, we wanted to help groups that made a difference to their local communities, and Glasgow's Pre-Loved uniforms is a fantastic example of that. Donna's tale of building up Glasgow's pre-loved uniforms into the local powerhouse it is today is an inspirational one for others." And that was a report by Brian Yule. Residents are now able to recycle more plastics. Report by Brian Yule. Eastern Bartonshire residents are reminded that they can now recycle more plastics than ever in their brown bin. Last month, the council announced a major expansion of the types of plastics that can be included in the brown bin, meaning even more will be diverted from landfill. As well as plastic bottles, such as shampoo, detergent and drink bottles, the council can now accept additional plastics from its curbside recycling collections. These include carrier bags, bread bags and vegetable bags, plastic trays from microwave meals, fruit punnets or biscuits, plastic tubs such as margarine or ice cream tubs, plastic pots such as those for yogurt, puddings and noodles and soup, clean tinfoil. Residents are also advised that items must be clean and empty to ensure that the many tons of plastic collected make it through recycling processes successfully. Council Chief Executive Jerry Corn said, "Our residents have been consistently amongst the top recyclers in the country, so it's fantastic that we are now providing this expanded service. The reaction from our residents to this news has been overwhelmingly positive and demonstrates just how passionate many in our communities are about recycling well and doing their bit for the environment. Over the coming months, we will continue to raise awareness of what items go in each of our bins in order to increase our area's recycling even further." The council has provided a successful, high-quality plastic recycling service from the curbside for over 15 years. The range of plastics that can be recycled has always been driven by available markets and the best environmental option for residents. Any residents who currently cannot access the council's recycling facilities are encouraged to get in touch. The council will only collect household waste that is in the following bins: grey bin, general waste; blue bin, paper and cardboard; brown bin, plastic, glass and cans; green bin, garden waste; grey food caddy, food waste. To learn what goes in each bin or for more information, visit www.easternbarton.gov.uk/residents/recycling-bins-and-recycling. And that was a report by Brian Yule. Business Waste Services. North Lanarkshire Council's Business Waste Service has gone online. Businesses can access and manage their business waste collection and order new bins using a secure online account. Customers will also be able to change the frequency of collections and view pricing information and payment methods. The account will generate the duty of care document, the legal contract between the council and each business. Andrew McPherson, Head of Regularity Services and Waste Solutions, said, "Businesses will have a convenient, efficient way of managing their waste contract with all the necessary information in one place. This is part of our ongoing move towards digital services that meet the needs of residents and businesses and helps us provide a more efficient and responsive service. A letter has been sent to all existing customers providing details of how to register. For more information, visit www.northlanarkshire.gov.uk/business-waste. Inspection Programme. Protecting our heritage sites. Report by Julie Curry. An inspection programme designed to assess the condition and the impact of climate change on some of Scotland's most significant heritage sites is getting underway. Historic Environment Scotland, HES, which is responsible for 336 historic buildings and sites, is rolling out the programme of tactile condition surveys. The work has been undertaken in response to concerns over the deterioration of high-level masonry caused by several factors, including the materials used during construction, age, physical location, and climate change. Inspections and sample surveys conducted by HES last year uncovered a range of decay in high-level building fabric, creating a risk of falling masonry. To protect staff and visitors, access has been constricted at many of the affected sites, although every effort has been made to enable visitor access where it can be done safely. HES will carry out the work in 3 priority phases. Considerable preparatory work is already underway. Priority will be given to surveying sites where it is difficult to fully mitigate all risks to public safety, such as where the nature or location of site presents a particular challenge, or where adjacent land owned by a third party may be affected. Sites where access restrictions are having a significant adverse community and economic impact will also be prioritised this year. Dr. David Mitchell, HES Director of Conservation, said, "This is a major programme of activity taking place across Scotland, involving a new approach to inspection and new skills for our teams. Our changing climate since the 1960s has accelerated the natural process of decay, and the nature and location of some properties makes them particularly susceptible. Our response to this situation requires us to evolve our approach, and what we are finding will increasingly become an issue for many building owners across Scotland. We have developed an approach to allow us to prioritise sites based on health and safety first and foremost, as well as the benefits that properties generate for local communities. It is important to note that the conclusion of the survey does not necessarily mean a property will reopen in full or in part right away. It is entirely dependent on what we find. Once the site is assessed and we have an indication of what the issues are, we will then make the decisions on what happens next. The surveys will provide a detailed and accurate picture of the property's condition and will inform a subsequent programme of repairs, conservation work, adaptation measures and interventions. Surveys have been undertaken by specialist HES technical staff and will be literally hands-on. While surveys and work is taking place, HES is exploring alternative visitor experiences. For details on site access, visit www.historicenvironment.scot. Schedule of works. Sites will be surveyed in 3 batches, and access restrictions will remain in place until a full survey and any remedial works are undertaken. Within each phase, properties will be prioritised based on a range of factors, including weather, geography, team availability and pre-inspection survey results. Included in the first phase are Arbroath Abbey, Blackfriars Chapel, St Andrews, Kilross Abbey, Dirleton and Hales in East Lothian, Dryborough Abbey in Melrose, Dunfermline Abbey, Kelso Abbey, McLennan's Castle in Kirkcudbright, Maison du Chapel in Brechin, Ravenscraig's Castle in Kirkcaldy, and St Andrews Castle. Dunbartonshire showing love for local this spring. Report by Brian Yule. Communities have been urged to get behind their local businesses this spring as part of the Scotland Loves Local campaign. Damon Scott, project leader and chief executive of Dunbartonshire Chamber of Commerce, said, "Our local businesses continue to need the support of local people. Many are still working hard to recover from the impact of COVID, and spending locally helps that cash circulating in our local economies, creates jobs, and is more environmentally friendly. We have so many amazing businesses to choose from that I would always encourage anyone to look locally first. As well as those on our high streets, we have a wonderful array of online, freelance and home-based businesses and a host of trades to meet most needs. The Loves Local team will be working hard to focus on some of the common themes at this time of year, including home improvements, gardening and outdoor, as well as days out and activities. They will also continue to work to develop themes and activities that encourage ongoing interaction and engagement with shops, cafes and attractions, amongst others. Mr. Scott added, "This is traditionally a time of year for new beginnings, spring cleans, home environments, and spending more time outside in the garden or further afield. We'll certainly be trying to make the most of this mindset to convey the messages that are the heart of our Loves Local to choose local first." There is also a fantastic variety of things to do across both East and West Bartonshire, and we'll be highlighting some of those opportunities too. From Cameron House, Loch Lomond Shores, the Sea Life Centre, and Sweeney's Cruises in and around Balloch, Loch Lomond, to the Denny Tank Museum and Dumbarton Castle and Bowling Harbour to Mugduck Park, the Roman Bathhouse, to the Clyde and Forth Canal cycle routes. The Loves Local programme will also see the print-led campaign that has been delivered in the other towns rolled out in Balloch, with a town flyer being developed to promote local businesses and services. For more information or to get involved in the Loves Local campaign, email hello@loveslocal.co.uk or call 0141 280 0335. And that was a report by Brian Yule. Comedy in Bishopbriggs in need of autism charity. Report by Brian Yule. A comedy charity night is taking place in Bishopbriggs on Saturday, April the 23rd, to raise money for the National Autistic Society Scotland. Back to the Comedy, which features several talented Scottish comics, will take place in the Fourth Theatre at 7 p.m. The full lineup features Patrick Rowling, Kenny Sinclair, Scott Laird, Ronnie Black, AJ Sixsmith, and compere Graham Stewart, and the group have taken part in previous charity gigs for the British Heart Foundation and Cancer Research UK. A raffle will also take place on the night in support of the National Autistic Society Scotland, with a bar available for refreshments during intervals. The charity of choice for the event is especially meaningful for organiser Alan Sathan, whose young daughter Macy is autistic. Alan said, "From an early age we could tell that Macy wasn't developing like other children, and just before her 4th birthday in December we had it confirmed she was on the spectrum. The challenges we face are daily. An outdated term is that she's high functioning. A phrase I heard from someone previously is that she's high functioning until she's not. For that reason, I absolutely understand why it is no longer used, as it gives the impression she can get on with her life without issue, but it's not as simple as that. Simple things we take for granted, such as getting a haircut, can be a big change for her. Sleeping is also a major problem, as Macy will struggle to fall asleep. Sometimes you can be with her for 2 hours, and she'll still be singing songs or fidgeting with her hands or feet. We also have some extended family and friends who don't understand autism properly. Regularly we get the reply of, but we're all on the spectrum to a degree. It's frustrating because they don't understand the challenges that you have. The biggest support we could ask for is that others are not judgmental. For example, if she has a meltdown while we are out, then they learn to adjust to her instead of wanting her to adjust to them. I love the message that the National Autism Society Scotland is trying to spread, to ensure that the world accepts those on the spectrum for who they are, instead of trying to change them and adjust to society. I also appreciate that they provide support, guidance and advice, as well as campaigning for improved rights, services and opportunities for those on the spectrum. The comedians for this event are all headline acts, with some having performed worldwide, and the rest hosting their own shows throughout the UK. They've each been on the circuit for a long time, and have a very seasoned act that promises a fantastic night with lots of laughs. Rob Holland, acting director of the National Autistic Society Scotland, added, "We're delighted to see Alan and Back to the Comedy choose to fundraise for our charity, and we hope to get as many people involved as possible. The money raised for this event will be vital for us to create a society that works for autistic people and their families in Scotland, and to support more people like Macy and Alan. For ticket information, visit www.skiddle.com/e/3601572. And that report was by Brian Newell. Macar backs Keep the Heed and Read campaign. Report by Julie Curry. Scotland's Macar, Kathleen Jamie, is one of the first people in the country to pledge her support for the recently launched Keep the Heed and Read campaign. She joined some of the country's most influential organisations, including the Institute of Directors and the SPFL Trust, in pledging to take part in the National Reading Moment on Wednesday, May the 11th. The countrywide initiative, led by the Scottish Library and Information Council, SLIC, in partnership with the Mental Health Foundation and the Scottish Association for Mental Health, SAMH, and with support from Baillie Gifford, aims to inspire and encourage people of all ages and abilities to read every day to boost their mental health and well-being, starting with a pledge to read for just 6 minutes on May the 11th. Research shows that reading for 6 minutes a day can reduce stress by 68% in people of all ages. The National Reading Moment is aptly due to take place during Mental Health Week from May the 9th to the 15th. Kathleen Jamie, Scotland's national poet, 2021 to 2024, said, "Our local libraries are full of great reading material, books, of course, but also comics and pamphlets of poetry, so they're the perfect places to release the imagination, whatever your ability and interests. Reading for pleasure can have a huge impact on our well-being. I read every day, often early in the morning, to set me up for the day, so I'm glad to support the Keep the Heed and Read campaign. I've pledged my 6 minutes of reading on May the 11th, and would encourage everyone else to do the same." An online totaliser, capturing the number of reading minutes pledged, is available at www.keeptheheed.scot. Pamela Tulloch, Chief Executive at SLIC, said, "This campaign was designed to promote the positive and easy to implement changes which can help increase mental health and well-being, and highlight the part in the local libraries play in that process. We believe starting with a simple pledge to read for just 6 minutes on May the 11th will help inspire people to take forward these good habits. Working in partnership with Scotland's 32 public library services, SLIC hopes the free-to-use services will encourage as many people as possible to get involved." And that report was by Julie Curry. Let's talk. Letters page from the Kirkintilloch Herald. Please send your letters via email to kirkyherald@gnscotland.co.uk. That's KIRKYHERALD @gnscotland.co.uk. Boris has mislaid the promised £350 million per week bonus from Brexit. Sir, the NHS is in the midst of a funding crisis. Your readers will recall that before the Brexit disaster, the Prime Minister promised us £350 million a week for the NHS if we voted for Brexit. And, of course, Boris Johnson is celebrated as a man of unimpeachable integrity and a man of his word. The Scots had mere sense, but the promise, made on the side of a bus, helped to sway voters in the rest of the UK. But what has happened to the £350 million? It has surely been mislaid, or we would have heard about this wonderful Brexit dividend. Yours, etc., David Curry, address supplied. Many PMs have come and gone in the time of war. Why not the current one? Sir, it is striking to note the spurious argument that because there is a war in Ukraine, this means Boris Johnson should remain in office and not be replaced. This is a man who has broken the law, the first Prime Minister in office to do this, as well as lying to Parliament. History highlights that on numerous occasions we have replaced the PM in wars we've been directly involved in. In May 1940, Neville Chamberlain resigned after the British failure to liberate Norway. In December 1916, during the First World War, Lord George replaced Herbert Asquith. More recently, Mrs. Thatcher resigned in November 1990, with Iraq invading Kuwait in August of that year, which led to the Gulf War. You can add to these examples changes to PMs during the war in Afghanistan, the Second Boer War, the Second Opium War, and the Crimean War. So, changing a PM in a time of conflict is clearly not unprecedented. Those who make the law cannot be seen to be breaking the law, and it is scarcely credible that Mr. Johnson, who has now lost the final fragments of any moral authority he did have, can carry the confidence of the country and remain in office. Yours, etc., Alex Orr, address supplied. Ministerial posts more to do with CVs than any commitment to the UK. Sir, the revelations about the tax and immigration affairs of the Chancellor of the Exchequer Rishi Sunak and his wife open a window on how different much of our political class is from the great majority of British people, not simply in their lifestyles, but more fundamentally in their worldview. With his hopes of becoming a future Prime Minister sunk, Mr. Sunak's next job could easily be in New York, Frankfurt, Basel or New Delhi. He can leave behind the £400 billion that he has added to our already crippling national debt to £2.3 trillion. Most of the rest of us will be stuck with this vast interest-bearing burden for generations. Former Labour Minister and global warming fanatic David Miliband left politics and then went off to New York to grow rich as the CEO of an international charity. Former Deputy PM Nick Clegg went off to California to a senior position at Facebook. One is left with a gut feeling that our leading politicians have more of a commitment to Davos and the World Economic Forum than they actually have to our country. All too many of them seem to view Britain as merely a useful venue for the advancement of their careers. Yours, etc., Otto Inglis, by email. Animal Aid. Sir, a recent poll by OnePoll, commissioned by Animal Aid, found 71% of people believe it is acceptable to cause animals pain and suffering for any reason. This was to be expected. Indeed, most people wouldn't dream of harming animals, and yet animals are subject to pain and suffering on a daily basis, for the food we eat, for entertainment, in the wild and in the lab. Our everyday choices can cause animals harm or reduce it. For example, opting for plant-based foods or refraining from betting on horse races can have a hugely positive impact upon the animal lives. You can find out ways in which you can make compassionate choices by visiting www.animalaid.org.uk/71%. You have a choice, the animals don't. Yours, etc., Todd Bradbury, Animals Aid. And that was a Let's Talk section from this week's Kirkintilloch Herald. Ambitious Plans to Nurture Our Nature. Report by Julie Curry. Nature Scot has published its vision for the next 4 years, setting out an ambitious plan to protect, restore and value nature. Scotland's Nature Agency's plan sets out a route map to halt nature loss by 2030 and deliver natural restoration to scale by 2045. Priorities include leading the delivery of 30% of land and sea being protected by 2030, scaling up peatland restoration through the Peatland Action Project to substantially exceed Scotland's goal by 250,000 of restored peatland by 2030, delivering a major nature restoration fund targeted at high impact and landscape scale nature recovery and climate projects, sustainability reducing deer numbers to enable woodlands and peatlands to grow and capture carbon. Dr. Mike Cantley, Nature Scot chairman, said, "Nature is in crisis and we face a climate emergency. Much has been achieved, but we know that the greater urgency is needed to meet these colossal challenges. The plan sets out the bold action Nature Scot will lead to protect, restore and value nature. By doing so, nature can contribute more than 40% of Scotland's drive for net zero carbon emissions by 2045. Success will require a radical change in how we use and value the land and sea. It's vital that this transition is just and fair, with investment in nature delivering for people as well as planet through greening jobs and investment. We know that we cannot deliver this vision on our own. As Scotland's Nature Agency, we will continue to work closely with partners, communities and businesses towards our shared goal of a nature-rich Net Zero Scotland. The Scottish Government has been working closely with NatureScot to develop the plan and is delighted to be supporting it. Biodiversity Minister Lorraine Slater said, "This autumn we will provide a new biodiversity strategy with ambitious targets to protect at least 30% of Scotland's land and sea for nature and highly protect 10%. View the plan at www.nature's.scot/doc/corporate-plan-2022-2026-future-all. Bicycle spaces are on the rise on trains. ScotRail customers who love exploring Scotland by bike are seeing a huge increase in the number of cycle spaces on trains. The aim is to encourage tourists, cyclists and local commuters to ditch the car and use the train to get them out into the open air. In 2015, there were 923 spaces for cycles on ScotRail trains. Now there are 1,406, a rise of 34%, and even more cycle spaces will be rolled out this summer. The last few months have seen an acceleration of the project, with 140 extra spaces being installed across the fleet of 70 Hitachi Class 385 electric trains. It means that all ScotRail trains now have spaces for bikes, and, by the end of August, a further 100 spaces will have been installed on the high-speed Inter-7 City trains, bringing the overall total to 1506. This will be an increase of 574 spaces on the number available in 2015, a rise of 38%. As with most businesses, progress slowed for 2 years while the coronavirus pandemic was at its height, but this figure outstrips the commitment made by 2015 to increase the number of cycle spaces by 500. James Ledgerwood, Head of Economic Development and Communities, said, "Whether it's for work or for leisure, these new cycle spaces will help even more people to get out of cars and into the great outdoors and make a real difference if you want to travel in a more sustainable way. We promised we would hugely increase the number of spaces in our trains and, despite the delay caused by coronavirus, we have delivered on that pledge." Royal Highland Show is live streamed. The Royal Highland Show will take to the small screen to live stream this year's 200th anniversary event across the globe. Organisers have successfully secured £200,000 worth of funding from the Scottish Government to drive the initiative. The free-to-view RHS TV will see a dynamic mix of live and pre-recorded content broadcast throughout the 4 days, featuring the perfect balance of livestock judging, equestrian classes, culture, interviews, food and drink and, of course, the Grand Parade. Presenting RHS TV in the mornings will be Dougie Viewpoint, with Sarah Mack taking over the reins in the afternoons. RHS TV will also be transmitted across the showground on giant screens. The content will be available to watch back on the Royal Highland Show YouTube channel. The announcement follows the success of the Royal Highland Showcase in 2021, which saw 345,701 viewers watch the action online from across 97 countries. Bill Gray, Chairman of the Royal Highland and Agricultural Society of Scotland, RHASS, which organises the show, said, "This is a hugely exciting announcement which will allow us to bring the best of food, farming and rural Scotland to audiences across the globe. The value the show brings to the economy, and also to Scotland, the brand, is reflected in the level of support we have received from the Scottish Government, for which we are very grateful. It's just one of the many initiatives planned to make the 2022 show, 200 years since it first took place, a spectacular." Taking place from June the 23rd to 26th, For tickets, visit www.royalhighlandshow.org.
We're walking, not just talking. More Scots are now walking the walk and not just talking the talk when it comes to keeping active. Scottish walking charity Paths for All, which champions everyday walking in pursuit of happier and healthier lives, has been encouraged by the findings of a major Scottish Government study. The Scottish Household Survey found that 86% of adults had participated in physical activity in the 4 weeks leading up to the survey. The most common activity being walking, with 82% of adults having walked for at least 30 minutes. Disabled adults also opted for walking, with 61% saying this was their most common activity. Kevin Lafferty, Paths for All Chief Executive, said, "Scots of all ages are putting their best foot forward in large numbers. As the survey demonstrates, walking remains one of the healthiest and easy to access activities which can enable people to enjoy healthier and happier lives. While it is encouraging to see that more than 80% of those surveyed had walked for at least 30 minutes in the weeks before the study, that still means there is room for significant improvement." Paths for All launched its Step Up strategy in January, which places walking and physical activity at the heart of the response to tackling physical, mental and social health and well-being. Step It Up promotes walking by foot or with a wheelchair or mobility aid as the natural choice in improving health. A separate report by Nature Scot, Enjoying the Outdoors, highlighted the increasing importance of nature to people's health and well-being. The report established that local parks and spaces were the most visited sites and that 79% of those surveyed took part in walking, with more than half enjoying walks of 2 miles or less, while 41% enjoyed walks of between 2 and 8 miles. Kevin added, "Both reports underline the importance of getting off the sofa and out into the fresh Scottish air to make the most of our local environments, paths, tracks and green spaces." For more information, visit www.pathsforall.org.uk. Swap food waste to help food banks. A staggering 9.52 million tonnes of food is wasted every year in the UK, while more than 3.5 million people are seeking support from food banks. To mark Stop Food Waste Day on April the 27th, national charity Bank the Food has launched #WasteNot, a campaign asking shoppers to reduce food waste by swapping an item from their weekly shop and donating it to their community food bank. Food banks are a lifeline for many, but often they are inundated with one type of item while lacking others. Bank the Food has launched a free app that sends shoppers a list of urgently needed items from their local food bank when they arrive at the supermarket. Emma Spring, co-founder, said, "It's such a simple way to genuinely help people around you who are struggling." To find out more or download the app, visit www.bankthefood.org.
District News, Churches section, Home Church Scotland, Lammermoor Road, Kirkintilloch, G66 2AB. How wonderful it is, how pleasant for God's people to live in harmony. Psalm 133 verse 1. 9:30 AM Communion, 10 AM Prayer Time, 10:30 AM Fellowship, tea and coffee available, 11 AM Worship service in Children's Church followed by tea and coffee. The main service at 11 AM is online and in person. Minibuses leave Home Church at 6:30 PM for the church service at Renfield Centre, Bath Street, Glasgow at 7 PM. All welcome. One Church, Home Church, 5 locations, Kirkintilloch, Glasgow, North Coast, Northern Ireland, Stornoway, and online. A church for all ages. Wednesday, home groups are cancelled during school holidays. See Facebook, and Instagram for up-to-date information. St David's Memorial Park Church. At St David's Memorial Park Church, our morning service on Sunday, April the 24th, will be at our usual time of 10:30am and will be led by our Church of Scotland reader, John Nicholson. During our morning worship, school-aged children will have the opportunity to go through to our halls for their own time of fun and learning with JAM. All are welcome to attend our service. We would ask that you continue to wear a face mask during the service unless exempt from doing so. We look forward to welcoming you to the church. Our Tuesday lunchtime services have now resumed and take place each Tuesday from noon to 12:30pm. Our next service will be on April the 26th. All are welcome to attend. Kirkintilloch Church of God. The Sunday evening Good News service at Regent Hall, Regent Street, remains cancelled for now. We are, however, continuing our Zoom services each Sunday at 6:30pm. A warm invitation to everyone who is able to join us on Zoom. Access details for the stream can be obtained by emailing hello@regenthall.org. Come to Coffee Corner at Regent Hall on Wednesday from noon until 2pm for home baking and coffee. COVID-safe measures are in place. For up-to-date and further information on our services, visit our website on www.regenthall.org. The Bible says, "Remember Jesus Christ, risen from the dead." 2 Timothy verse 8. St James Church, Hilton Road, Bishopbriggs. Rector, the Reverend Paul Watson, 0141 230 4080. The church is now open for socially distanced services. Face masks are personal choice. This Thursday at 11am and on Sunday at 9am and 10:30am. Everyone is welcome to come along to any of these services. Do stay on for tea or coffee and fellowship. The meditation labyrinth is still available in the car park for a mindful walk round. There are also virtual services in groups. For up-to-date and further information, refer to our social media. Facebook, St James LS, Bishopbriggs. Website, www.stjamesbishopbriggs.org.uk. St Columba's Church. Do join us for our Sunday morning service at 10:30am each week, where we consider to study the Gospel of Luke together. We also have a children and young people's ministry running alongside the service on a Sunday morning, and the visitors' children are always welcome. On Sunday, April the 24th at 7pm, we begin a new series of evening services, God in the Storm, as we study the book of Job together. You're also most welcome to join our midweek service at 10am on a Wednesday. We'd be really glad to meet you and join you for tea or coffee or juice after either of these services if you're able to stay for that. If you can't come to a service in person, you can still connect with us by live stream on our website at www.kirkintillochstcolumbus.org.uk or by searching for St Columba's Kirkintilloch on YouTube. We have a full programme of events during the week, including Little Fishes, our community carer and toddler group, and the first Kirkintilloch Boys Brigade. Please see the church website for more details. Reverend Philip Wright, Minister, St Columba's Kirkintilloch, Old Isle Road, Kirkintilloch, G66 3HQ. P. Wright at churchofscotland.org.uk. Mobile 07427 623 393. Lenzie Union Parish Church. Sunday worship on April the 24th will be held by Reverend Donald MacLeod at 11am in the church. Young people are also welcome to Bible class. A live stream of the service is available on YouTube via our website. Tea and coffee may be served in the hall after the Sunday service. Sunday chat is at 12:30pm on Zoom. Face coverings are now no longer required in church services, though face coverings should continue to be worn in the two areas where 1 metre social distancing remains. The Meeting Place coffee shop is open on Wednesdays 10 a.m. until 11:30 a.m. in the new hall. Meet your friends and enjoy a chat over a cup of tea or coffee. Everyone, from the very young to the young at heart, is welcome to join us, where we will also have a good selection of greetings cards and second-hand books for sale. Kenmure Parish Church. Our session clerk, along with Anelia Allen, will lead our Sunday morning service starting at 11 a.m. The service will be live streamed on YouTube and can be found by searching for Kenmure Bishopbriggs. Details of all of our groups that are now running may be found on our website, kenmure-church.co.uk. To find us on Facebook, just search for Kenmure Parish Church. If you would like to join our WhatsApp group or receive the Bible studies from ABC, then email us at kenmurechurch@icloud.com. Lenzie Old Parish Church. Sunday morning worship is at 11 a.m. This service will be available online and on the phone line later in the afternoon. Please take a lateral flow test before attending the service. The Thursday Club meets on April the 21st in the new hall, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. for tea, coffee, games and chat. Come and Sing, the dementia-friendly singing group, meets in the church hall on Tuesday, April the 26th, 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. Colston Wellpark Church. Welcome to our service this Sunday at 11 a.m, led by Reverend Leslie Grieve. Tea and coffee is served in the hall after the service. The Colston Art Club continues this Monday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m, and a warm welcome to all those who are interested in art and good company. The food bank continues its good work and remains open every Monday and Friday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. All church organisations and groups are continually working hard to normal activities as soon as possible. Catch our church services on Facebook at Colston Wellpark Parish Church, and if you require further information on our church activities, etc., please contact Leslie Grieve on 07813 255 052. Milton of Campsie Church. We're back in the building, no need to book. Jigsaw, Epic and Crossover will meet as usual. Noon Zoom coffee and chat is now at 12:30 p.m. Contact Julie for the link. And remember, the phone number for a dial-in service which enables you to hear the Sunday service. Just dial 01360 545 345. TIF, taking it further, meets at 7 p.m. for 1 hour. The Baby and Toddler Group, Hobbies Club and Badminton Club all met on Monday. Time to pray is at 7:15 p.m. to 7:55 p.m. on Wednesday. BB Anchor and Junior sections meet on Friday at 6:15 p.m. Torrens Parish Church. The Sunday morning service in person is at 10:30 a.m. conducted by Reverend Stuart Irwin, and during the service the youngsters meet together in creche. Junior Church and FROG, you no longer require to wear a mask, but, if possible, please take a lateral flow test before arriving. The cafe is open on Wednesday at 9 a.m. till noon for teas and coffees serving delicious home baking. Why not pop in and taste for yourself? To join the service online, click torrensparishchurch.online.church. Find out about regular weekly activities. Check the website for what's on at www.tpc.org.uk. District News, General. Society of Antiquaries. The last meeting of the Antiquaries for this session will be the annual general meeting, which will be held at the Park Centre at 7:30 p.m. on Thursday, April the 21st. If you wish to attend, please send an email to kdsantiquaries@gmail.com. The AGM will be followed by a presentation by Society member Murray Reid on the geology of Kirkintilloch. Drimmen, art exhibition, After 3 years' absence, Gym and Art Club will have an exhibition and sale of paintings again. The members have continued to paint throughout the COVID period. Many have been learning new skills and working at improving their painting techniques online. As life returns to more normal, some of us are attending classes at the Art for You studio at Oakwood. It is hoped that our loyal supporters and critics will visit our exhibition to enjoy our new work. As a community-based art club, we would welcome new members. Anyone interested should come along to the Village Hall any Wednesday afternoon between 1pm and 4pm and see what we do and meet with the members. The exhibition and sale will be held at the Village Hall on Saturday and Sunday, April the 23rd and 14th, from 9am to 5pm. Admission is free and refreshments, teas, coffees, etc. will be available. The members look forward to seeing you. Social Care Course. Scotland's colleges have responded to the recruitment crisis facing social care by launching Introduction to a Career in Social Care, an online course designed to bring more trained candidates into this area of work at a time when the country faces a social care crisis caused by the skills gap and worsened by the pandemic. A total of 1,800 funded spaces in the course, which provides students with an introduction to the area of social care and a stepping stone to employment or further training, are available to students across Scotland's colleges. A significant feature of this course is supporting students in their further study or directly into employment through collaboration between colleges, College Development Network, CDN, the Scottish Social Services Council, SSSC, and local employers. With opportunities for qualified students, many and varied, and vacancies at an all-time high, CDN led the bid for funding for colleges across the country to offer this course. CDN is the national agency that supports skills and development across the college sector in Scotland and promotes college as an advantageous educational path which rivals that of university. According to SSSC, the ongoing serious staffing problems are the result of too few applicants with qualifications or experience. Jim Metcalf, College Development Network, said, "It is clear that the demand for trained carers is outstripping supply, and this is leading to the care sector crisis point in Scotland. Colleges aim to provide students with the best opportunities possible for learning and onward job prospects, and they also strive to meet the needs of wider society. It should come as no surprise that colleges have worked hard to deliver a course that will boost the number and quality of applicants for social care jobs. For any further information, please go to www.cdn.ac.uk/introduction-career-social care. Business Awards. Nominations are now open for the Scottish SME Business Awards 2022, powered by Business Connect and Oceanic Events. This is the fourth year that these awards are taking place, which they aim to reward and recognise the growing number of SME businesses in Scotland. It's more important now than ever before to recognise SME businesses due to the number of businesses that were established in Scotland during the pandemic. The award ceremony will be held virtually this June. The public are being encouraged to submit their votes now, and, so far, over 2,000 nominations have been entered. To be considered for these awards, the businesses must have been trading or in post for a minimum of 12 months. There are 27 categories for these awards, including New Businesses of the Year, Unique, Online Company of the Year, and Creative Entrepreneur of the Year. Votes for these awards can be submitted at www.surveymonkey.co.uk/r/the 4 Scottish SME Business Awards 2022, powered by Business Connect. Environment. Protecting our planet. Dr. Frank Dunn. We very much enjoy engaging with our grandsons, Charlie and Harry, on a Thursday after school and on to the early evening. We also have the whole day with them from time to time during the holidays. There has always been a bit of forward planning to these days, but we must have observed the most enjoyable days do not necessarily involve forking out for an adventure play park or other super duper leisure activity centres. Last week, for example, we headed over to Clachan of Campsie for a walk up through the hills and through the woods. They love the waterfalls, and in the summer we would build dams and skim flat stones. We noticed last year that there was a disturbing amount of litter in the woods and on the side of the paths. We thought that there would be very little litter at this time of year, but decided to bring a few bags just in case. The boys discovered bottle tops, glass beer bottles, cans, plastics, a large shoe, sunglasses, an old football and sundry other items. The 3 bags were overflowing, and we found an empty bag which was also filled. They enjoyed this activity so much and were delighted that they had helped the planet. We discussed the dangers of litter to all the manner of animals who inhabit that area. Even small bottle tops can be very damaging, not to mention broken glass and food wrappings. The whole event was a salutary lesson to me. It is abundantly clear that everybody must respect the planet and contribute to a cleaner, safer and greener environment. Putting it bluntly, if people ignore all the advice currently being given, we won't have a planet for much longer. Glasgow hosted COP26 last year, and it was a positive step in the right direction, with governments around the world signing up to key environmental issues. Only with such global cooperation will the relentless overheating of the world slow. The ice caps are melting at an alarming rate, and this must be reversed. Although the current adult population of the world is unlikely to see the effects of any major change in the environment, subsequent generations will for sure be affected, and we must all display responsible attitude in regard to litter and follow Charlie and Harry's example. And that was this week's District News General.
Maya back to winning ways. An article written by Ian McLean. Lindsay tennis player Maya Lumsden has made a remarkable return to the sport with victory in the UK Pro League event at Warwick University. The 24-year-old is back in action after an 18-month layoff with long COVID, but went into the UK Pro League Week 4 event with no real expectations. Her first match back ended in a narrow defeat to Marini Banks on the pool stage, but she decisively reversed that result with a 6-2, 3-6, 10-4 win in Saturday's final. Quote, "It feels amazing. Before I didn't really have any expectations in terms of results. My goal was to just manage the 5 matches and hope I was going to feel fine through it. To get the win is such a nice bonus. It feels great to be back, playing after such a long time. I've really missed the feeling of competitive matches, so to be playing all these matches this week is a great feeling. To come through them and be feeling okay is a massive positive. As before the event, I guess I wasn't sure exactly how I'd feel and how I'd react." End quote. After initially displaying mild symptoms on contracting COVID in October 2020, Lumsden found herself bedbound and embroiled in a gruelling battle with the virus. It was difficult for Lumsden to know just how she was going to play on her return, and she was left encouraged by what she was able to produce. But she understandably remains cautious about her long-term return to life on the ITF circuit, with a return to the world's top 250 her overarching target. She added, quote, "I think the stuff I've been practicing, some of it came out on court, which I think is a positive. Also, the fact I've not played in 18 months and I'm still at a decent level, I'm most pleased with that, as I don't know what to expect, or where my level was going to be at. I'm just taking every day and every week at a time. We were seeing how this week went before planning the next steps, but I hope to start playing ITFs the next few months. There's still lots on." End quote. With nearly £500,000 of prize money up for grabs across the season, All the thrills and spills are broadcast live on BT Sport, the Tennis Channel, and ukproleague.tv. News and updates across the seasons can be found at ukproleague.com. That's ukproleague.com. An article by Ian McLean. Maxwell so proud of young side. Kirkintilloch Rob Roy boss Stuart Maxwell says he was proud of his young side's efforts as their dreams of Scottish Junior Cup glory ended at the semi-final stage. A Graham Wilson goal and a Mark Shankland penalty put record winners Talbot up 2 at Meadow Park in Irving. And although Fraser Scott pulled one back in the second half, it's Talbot that got through to face Yoker Athletic, 2-1 winners over Petershill in the other semi, in the final. Maxwell said, quote, "We didn't start well. Whether that was down to inexperience, I don't know. But the response we got in the second half was tremendous. Fraser Scott, for me the best player on the park, scored a great goal and we controlled the game. We got in a lot of forward positions, but our final decisions weren't our usual standard. The wee bit of quality when we really needed it never came. But the endeavour and the effort was phenomenal, and the way this team is going, they are endearing themselves to the supporters. They gave it their all, and it was quite hard for me coming off the pitch with the supporters and the players and emotions running high and tears shed. It meant so much to everybody, and I really think there was a genuine belief we could have won the cup, and we've just fallen slightly short on fine margins. But hopefully they take the positives out of it. They can compete against all the top teams. That's not an issue. We just need to learn how to win the games." Rosvale Cup hopes go west. Rosvale went out of the Kilmarnock Pie West of Scotland Cup after a 2-1 third round defeat at Arthurlie on Saturday. The unbeaten Conference A side took the lead over their Premier Division visitors just before half-time, when former Vale man Lee Rolston sent in a shot which Craig Gordon got his hand to, but went in off the post. Arthurlie doubled their lead on the hour when Aaron Healy broke away on the left before slotting past Gordon. Rosvale reduced the deficit 10 minutes from time when Jordan Logan's effort eluded home keeper Gary Black. And they almost grabbed a last grasp equaliser as the ball broke to Brad Roden, with the goal at his mercy, but he missed the target and Vale were out. Tigers roar to first win. Speedway side Glasgow Tigers got their SGB Championship campaign off to a flyer at the Peugeot Ashfield Stadium on Friday night. Tigers were 67-23 winners over a depleted Newcastle Diamonds, one of their biggest wins in recent seasons. Craig Cook, Ulrich Ostergaard, and debutant Ben Basso were all unbeaten by an opponent, with Cook winning all his heats, as the home team put 3 points on the SGB Championship table. Brown said, quote, "Newcastle had a lot of problems. I felt sorry for them because everything that could go wrong went wrong. But you can only beat what is in front of you. Craig Cook looks like the Cook of old. He seems to have his mojo back. I still think on his day he is the best in the league." Water polo girls go into British League. An article by Ian McLean. A Kirkintilloch and Kilsyth amateur swimming club team will fly the flag for Scotland after qualifying for Division 3 of the British Water Polo League. A very young team made their way through the qualifying matches, finishing second in their group, to become the only club in Scotland to secure a place in the Women's League for seasons 2022 to 2023, which begins in the autumn. The first game of the weekend was a very close match, as KKASC drew 4-4 with Manchester Comets, with Manchester levelling the score in the last 28 seconds. A 4-2 win over Solihull then left KKASC as joint leaders overnight, putting them in a strong position for day 2. Sunday morning proved interesting when KKASC met bottom of the table Liverpool. Both defended strongly but failed to make much headway in attack, and match finished 1-0 to Liverpool. In the final match, KKASC required a win over Sunderland to gain promotion. While Sunderland were sitting near the bottom of the table, they had still been scoring heavily, and the final match was to be no exception. Both teams exchanged goals throughout, and Sunderland took a late 6-7 lead with 3 minutes 45 left in the game at 6-7. But KKASC then scored 3 unanswered goals from Kirkwood, McDonald and Kotkova to secure the win 9-7 and finish qualifying tournament in second place. Delighted head water polo coach Nico Fenu said, quote, "The women have worked very hard in training to bring their play to British Water Polo League level, and we are very proud of their efforts of our young team. Now the work begins to make an impact on Division 3." End quote. KKASC swimmers also enjoyed success in the West District Long Course Championship, bringing home 3 silvers and 6 bronze medals. Winners were Ava McDermott, silver, 50 metre breaststroke, bronze 100 metre, 200 metre breast, 100 metre butterfly, Greg Laurie, bronze 50 metre fly, Jocelyn Mackenzie, silver 50 metre backstroke, bronze 100 metre backstroke, Logan Moffat, silver 1500 metre freestyle, bronze 200 metres, breast brackets club record. That article is written by Ian McLean. Wins keep on coming for title chasers Glens. Allen Glens made it 15 wins out of 15 as they hammered hosts Carrick 61-5 to stay on course for the Tennant's West Division 1 title. Glens remains just 1 point behind leaders Stewartry, with 2 games in hand and 5 matches left. The last time the teams met, the score was 109-7 in favour of Glens, who were hoping for another easy win. And so it proved in the first half, when the visitors ran in 7 tries without reply. Levi Ekivati, returning from injury, opened the scoring for Glens by finishing off an attack by the visitors' backs. The on-form Scott Thomas added the extra points, the first of 6 first-half conversions. 10 minutes later, Kieran Riley touched down on the wing, followed by a second try by Ekavati on the other wing. A clever try by Ryan Moffat followed when he kicked ahead, caught the ball and scored, all from 10 metres out. Alistair McConnell finished off an elaborate back move to score before scrum half Fraser Moore produced a try from a scrum 5 metres from the home line. Ekavati set up the final score of the first half, sending Morrison in for the touchdown. However, immediately into the second half, an interception by Graham McCall and sprinted to the line to score seemed to give the home side inspiration, and they gave the visitors a tough game for the remaining 35 minutes. The best Glens could manage in the second half were 2 well-taken tries by McConnell to complete his hat-trick. This Saturday, Glens are away to East Kilbride, never an easy venue.
Thank you for listening to this week's Kirkintilloch Herald podcast, brought to you by Q & Review Print Speaking to the Blind. If you've any feedback, you're welcome to call us on 0141 772 3976. If you enjoyed this recording, feel free to subscribe to our channel.